Hey guys, this is Rob, and I guess I'm gonna take a little break from reviewing for at least a little while. And the fad these days is for everyone to kind of vlog about their gaming stories, and it's been quite the fad. I mean, I've loved Spoonie over it. My friend Trent's been doing it, and I haven't really shared a story quite yet. Where to begin? Well, a very long time ago, there was a online game called Battleswarm Field of Honor, and this was actually back when I was in high school, I think. So like 2005, 2006, around that area. And I originally played it when it was in Korean. I played about 5 matches, or no, I played more than that. I played at least 20 matches. However, because it was in Korean, I had no idea there was a training mode that gave you basic armor. So I played throughout my Korean campaign without actually having the basic armor that you get for being through the tutorial. So I went through that shit naked, like a boss, and I was actually pretty good, despite not knowing what the fuck I was doing. And then a company got a hold of the IP, and they did it in an American version, and the American version was okay. It kept the name. I believe some other company actually called it Insecticide or something like that, but that never got far. And I played that for a couple months, actually. I got really far into that game. I got some pretty good weaponry. But the community was terrible. My computer wasn't that good, so I had a big handicap at the time. I had to play everything on low graphics, and there were maps with water that if I played on the maps with water, my computer would actually freeze up, and I'd get kicked from the match because of that. So I actually was playing at a huge handicap at the time, and I didn't really like the community. The community was kind of the 4chan-esque piss off everyone and that's okay idea, and don't get me wrong, there is a place for that, believe it or not, but it's not on an online game. People play online games to have fun, and sure, their idea is kind of to piss off people, and that's fun to them, but when you have a community built up solely of these people, your game's not going to last long. And to this day, they're actually talking about reviving Battleswarm, the American version, because there's a company doing a game called Zeko, I believe, and they were saying that if their Kickstarter goes very good for Zeko, they might consider Battleswarm. And honestly, if they just did a Battleswarm Kickstarter, showed it off at, like, not E3 because that already passed, but if they were to show that at, like, New York Comic Con or something like that, show them the game and then go, hey, if you help us, we can redo it better, I think they'd do really good if they did that, because the biggest problem they had is they didn't actually have a community manager. They just let people do whatever the fuck they wanted. And that didn't work, because the game's dead now. It has been dead. It actually closed early this year, I think. Or it closed last year, I don't remember. But I know recently I looked for it, and Battleswarm actually is gone. And I bring up Battleswarm because while I was actively playing it, they held a contest. And the contest was play for a certain amount of hours during a certain period, and you are allowed to choose any item in the game to have for, I think it was a week. It was a week or 2 weeks. But any item in the game, even if it's not able to be purchased in the shop. That is just, so anything. And I heard a rumor about a bug that was not available in the game Battleswarm, there were two modes of play. There was the FPS mode, which was actually a third-person shooter, and then there was the RTS mode. And in the RTS mode, you had a bunch of hives that could spawn units, and you have to spawn the units to help with your objective. So these were a bug that you can spawn, and it was called the Viper Beetle. The Viper Beetle was this big yellow motherfucker, and I don't even think it had a weak point, actually. Or if it did, it was on the back, because bugs, if you shoot them in a certain spot, the glowing fuck me light, they'll do more damage. And that's the only way to take down some of the bigger monsters. And the Viper Beetle, the gimmick with the Viper Beetle is that there was like a 2% chance that if it hit you, you instantly died. Oh, I had so much fun with that Viper Beetle, you have no idea. It got to the point where anytime I joined a game as a bug, half the human team would just leave. They left because they knew I had the Viper Beetle. And I spammed that motherfucker. And that was probably my best, call it a memory, I guess. My best memory of Battleswarm, and why I really hope that game cleans up its act. Because I had a problem with Battleswarm. My problem was that in the version I played the last time, which was shortly before it was closed, is that it had a gigantic map, it had like a meta game and all that. It didn't have the players. It was trying to be a big popular shooter without any players a big popular shooter has. And that instantly is a problem. If you're going to do a game like Battleswarm again, here's my suggestion. Dedicated servers. Think about it. You're instantly going to be able to do better. Though I'm sure they don't give a shit what the fuck I say, but I like to think that I played enough games where I can make a critique like that and actually make sense. Anyways, I guess that's my Battleswarm story.